Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of their upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans are coming off another thrilling late game victory, and they will be returning home to face the Arizona Cardinals. So, I'm going to give you all the things that they need to do to win that Cardinals game. First, let's go all the way back to Sunday to talk about this game against the Cincinnati Bengals. So, once again, C.J. Stroud and the Texans pull off another late game victory, this time over the Cincinnati Bengals. And here's a couple of takeaways that I have for this game. So, another close win. Um, but with the main thing that this win was a little bit different, I would say, as opposed to last week's. Excuse me, the win with against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So with this one, Stroud he put up a huge total, 356 yards. Also in this game, a week before he had 470, but he also had two turnovers. He lost a fumble earlier in the game, and he also threw an interception on third down that could have that could have just really put the game away. And so it was he threw the pick, and um, it set up the rushing touchdown by the Cincinnati Bengals in that particular game. So he had his miscues. Defense, they had their miscues um, in this game as well. Um, I don't want to pick on him because he already having a rough week, but Denzel Perryman made some mistakes in late in that game that kind of, what I'm saying, got the Bengals to tie it up for us. He had the pass interference. When was that? Yeah, the PI on the Bengals when the Bengals got the ball after the pick. He had that pass interference um, called on him. And I think that was the one where he pushed the guy out of bounds and all this other stuff. So um, he missed out on a couple of plays or whatever, missed some coverage on some plays. So he had a tough, fourth quarter then, and then followed up with him getting suspended for 3 games, which was bull crap, but whatever. So I don't want to pick on him too much. What I will say is, despite those mistakes, a lot was redeemed. To be honest with you, a lot of stuff was redeemed. So we'll start with the defense. Sheldon Rankins, man, Sheldon Rankins was tearing stuff up. I wish I would have had this set to go and ready um, on his sack total. He was just balling. He was balling out in this game. Yeah, 3 sacks in that game, and on that last drive where the Bengals got the ball back, looking to tie it. His sack on Joe Burrow, it actually, what I'm saying, got them away farther from the end zone. So, that made it more difficult for them to get that touchdown. They just settled for the field goal. So that was a key sack for him right there. Um, Not to mention, just overall, there were miscues, but I can't just like completely down the defense. They did get 2 interceptions. Like Houston Carlson, I think his name was. He got a pick. Shaquille Griffin, he got a pick in that game as well. That what I'm saying, just really delayed. And those 2 interceptions, that delayed the scoring for the Bengals. So yeah, the defense had their mistakes, but they also had their key plays that overrode all the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? As for Stroud, we seen what he did to redeem himself. He led the game-winning drive. He threw the pass to Schultz to get us closer to not get us to knocking on the door of field goal range. In addition to that, he threw the ball to Noah Brown, and who made that catch and run to solidify us to get in the field goal range. So, big ups to him for doing that. And big ups to Noah Brown, back-to-back games with 100 yards receiving, and this past weekend he had 7 catches for 172. So he's really been impressive in these last 2 games. It's been impressive in this past game with the absence of Nico Collins. So shout out to Noah Brown for actually doing that. Um, One more thing, I was gonna mention in the game preview, but yeah, um, Devin Singletary, right? He's he's really stepped up and, like, you know what I'm saying, stepped in for Damian Pierce. Damian Pierce had missed this game and missed the second straight game. So, but Singletary has really been an effective piece in this run game. So shout out to him. He became the AFC offensive player of the week for this week, and so he did that off of his 30 carries for 150 yards. Um, Big day for him. Really helped us out, if anything. So, shout out to him for that. So that's all I got for the that game. Now let's get into it. Let's get into the other news. The big news. Everybody's been talking about C.J. Stroud for MVP. So last week after the Tampa Bay game, the week after following that, people were kind of murmuring it. You know what I'm saying? And it's all because he put on that amazing performance in that particular game. Um, this week, this is went from murmurs to being loud. Like, a lot of people feel, uh, or at least starting to feel, that he can actually win the MVP. And that's crazy because you still have Patrick Mahomes, you still have Jalen Hurts out here. And hell, I would even throw in Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? He has the Lions rocking right now. Um, in addition to that, Lamar Jackson's out here. Uh, Tua, Tua, the guy who put up 70 the other week, you know what I'm saying? He's been doing great. He's at the also near the top of the league as far as like passing yards go. But all these guys out here, and people are really feeling that C.J. Stroud is like the leader of this MVP race, and it's crazy to me that they think a rookie. You know what I'm saying? This is not an indictment on how people feel or whatever. It's just that this is a rookie. Like, you don't. The last rookie to actually win the MVP was Jim Brown. You know what I'm saying? And so you think about however many years that was. I think it was what, 57, 67, whatever. Um, he was the last one to do it, but you think about that, and it's like, for real? Like a rookie? Like, you got all these other names out here that I mentioned, and y'all going to a rookie, but he has been playing lights out. You know what I'm saying? Like, his numbers cannot be argued. And let me see if I can just pull him up because I just was looking at him. But he's top 10 in what, passing yards? Where is it? There. Oh, oops, my God, negative. All right. So he's top 10 in passing yards, yards per attempt, uh, attempted yards per attempt, yards per completion, yards per game. He leads as, like, he's number one. He leads the league in yards per game right now, and that's slightly above. Um, well, I will say Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins is out. But anything that's like a little bit, he's just a couple yards ahead of Tua. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he's been playing lights out. He deserves every bit of, like, of admiration or vote for MVP because he's been that good. You know what I'm saying? He's taken his team to 5 wins, surpassed last season's win total. He really has his Texans team in a playoff spot. Like, he really has changed the narrative on the Houston Texans. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, he already has records. Like, and you know how much people in sports love records when it comes to the MVP. I know a lot of Texans fans. Y'all are also Rocket. We're also Rockets fans, and so we remember when James Harden was here and he was up for MVP all those years, and he had to go up against Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry for the most part, and they would either give it to Russell Westbrook because he had the record for blah 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 triple doubles. You know what I'm saying? They would give it to Curry because he had the you know what I'm saying? Because he had the record for 3 pointers or he had the record for wins or whatever. But despite all that, the Rockets were still like winning basketball games, like a lot. You know what I'm saying? And making deep playoff runs. And a large part of that was because of James Harden. You know what I'm saying? At the time, now, if you say that stuff today, people might look at you crazy, and that's for a reason. But Houston James Harden was a different player. You know what I'm saying? A different, like, dude. But that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make is, um, he has the record. So he has the most consecutive passes without throwing an interception. He only has 2 interceptions on the season. Um, he has the single game passing yardage for he has a single game record for passing yardage by a rookie, and that came in the Tampa Bay game that he actually won. So it wasn't like it was some empty 470 yards that he threw in that game. Those 470 yards were needed to actually win. You know what I'm saying? So that's value right there. So he's been great. He's been excellent. A lot of people have argued like this is probably one of the best rookie seasons of all time. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he deserves every bit of admiration for MVP. Now, is it realistic? I don't know. Cause like I said, the last one to do it was James Brown, Jim Brown, and that was way back then. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, the players are just like too good on any other level, you know what I'm saying? On any level. But so when you have a rookie that's coming in and he's playing better than, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa, you know, I I'm not gonna mention Josh Allen, but I'll mention Josh Allen off the strength of last season or whatever. But Joe Burrow, before, the injury, he's playing better. Jared Goff, he's playing better than all these guys that's in here that, could have had a shot at winning the MVP. And they already have him in the front line. So obviously, like, it's just things that's going on probably with a lot of these teams. Um, Mahomes and uh Mahomes and Jackson for sure, they have new offenses, so maybe their numbers aren't as, you know, eye popping as, previous seasons, but they're still great numbers, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. They still balling out here. But yeah, it's like it doesn't feel realistic that he's gonna win it because because with the NFL is like they had that set like certain it's pretty much a quarterback award. Like every time, you know what I'm saying? Even with the running backs, like it's very few. It's some running backs that have won MVP, but for the most part, it's not like every year. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless they once again have a true like record attached to it. I think when Adrian Peterson won his MVP, he was like the seventh player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards that year. And so that was the record that was attached to it. You know what I'm saying? He did something amazing. And the Vikings got in the playoffs that season. So once again, he's gonna like you can't ask him to like perform like exceed expectations because I mean they had some pretty low expectations for him coming into this draft. So it is what it is, but hopefully he does win it. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully it's just like, this team has really turned it around as far as like decision making and everything, choosing players and building the team. So that's what that'll represent. So hopefully he actually gets it. Just and also because he's just been playing lights out this whole season. So we'll see what happens. Um, Texans in the playoffs. I know y'all lying. Nope, that's not lying. It is. It's crazy to think that this team is actually has a shot at the playoffs. Because I don't think a lot of people pegged them to win like a lot of games. So for them to be in this position right now, currently they are in the seventh spot. And so the teams they're behind the Browns, Steelers, Dolphins, Jaguars, Ravens, and Chiefs. So the Browns, they just lost Deshaun Watson for the season. Steelers, I don't know. They can be up and down sometimes. Dolphins might stay there. They're pretty solid. Jaguars, and Dolphins, Jaguars, Ravens, and Chiefs. Those are all division winners, by the way. So, um, if they drop out, it's gonna be because something happened in their division. But however, the Jaguars, um, a lot of people can see this Texans team. beating this Jaguars team and winning the division. And it's hard to deny them that. This is a great, 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 great team. This team is playing great football right now. However, what I will say is this in regards to the playoffs, the Texans. What I will say is this: the Texans. Uh, when I did my bye week special, that's what I want to get at. When I did my bye week special, I just looked at the schedule of what was coming up, and the ironic part was the teams that I picked them to lose against, they actually beat. The teams that I picked them to win, they actually lost to. It's crazy, I know, but Panthers they lost, but I thought they would beat them. You know what I'm saying, based off their record. Uh, Tampa Bay and Cincinnati, I kind of had my reservations about um, picking them. I might have picked Tampa Bay, but I probably didn't. So um, I just kind of had my reservation. I might have had my reservations about those two, but I felt like those were the two toughest teams on the rest of the schedule, and obviously that was the case, but it turned out into a different outcome. So, um, yeah, big ups to them. And after the rest of the schedule is like it's crazy to me. So we got the Cardinals on Sunday, Jaguars, Broncos, Jets, Titans, twice in 2 weeks. So yeah, we'll play the Titans on the 17th, then we'll play the Browns on the 24th, and then the Titans on New Year's Eve. Um, and then the Colts. So this is a very winnable schedule, just based on how the Texans are playing right now. There's no way that they can actually. It's. I don't think they come out with a losing record on this game. I'm not going to say that they go undefeated and they just get caught up in a trap game, especially with the Broncos. So the Broncos is playing, a little bit better than what they were before. Um, but yeah, definitely this game is. I mean, this schedule is super winnable for them. So right now at 5-4, they look like they have a legit shot to go to the playoffs. Even if they get swept by the Jaguars, I don't think that will like completely take them out. Actually, not swept by the Jaguars. I'm sorry, I thought they played them twice. They already beat the Jaguars once. So uh, maybe if they get swept by the Titans, maybe that's what I was trying to say. Um, but I don't think it'll put them like in a dent. If they get swept by the Titans, that might be the only two losses that they have on this. Well, this might be the second and third loss that they have on this side of the schedule after the bye week. So uh, we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, Cleveland. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I said, Deshaun Watson he got injured, um, so he's done for the year. So by the time we get to them, by the time we get to Cleveland, it's gonna be we probably gonna know like where we headed and where we're not headed. So all right, so let me get into injuries. I see that Damian Pierce has a limited practice designation for him for Friday. A couple of names that did not practice: Noah Brown, Henry Toto. See, Jimmy Ward did not practice. He had a hamstring injury. Let's see. And Will Anderson Jr. apparently has a knee injury. So, and he didn't practice. So, gonna be real interesting. Gonna be real interesting to see how that actually plays out for those that didn't practice on Friday. Um, Limited practice designation for Damian Pierce dealing with an ankle injury still. Now, with all that being said, it's time to get to this game, man. I cannot wait. So, Texans are coming off their thrilling win. They're going to be returning home, hosting the Arizona Cardinals, and C.J. Stroud said, "Hey, y'all need to come out here. Y'all need to get loud. Y'all need to pack this thing out." Pause. y'all need to. Y'all need to actually come. He said the fans need to show up to this game and get loud and root this team on. So that would all be a waste if we go out here and lose this game. So here's a couple of things or a few things that the Texans need to do. So number one, reduce the defensive mistakes. Sunday was the third straight game that the defensive miscues had put the team in a late game bind. Now, I know that we got C.J. Stroud that can pull a rabbit out of his hat with less than a minute, and that's fine. But you do not want to keep doing that to your quarterback or to your team. You know what I'm saying? Put the game away. You know, yeah, like offense needs to put the game away. Defensively, y'all need to put the game away as well. You know what I'm saying? Just stay sharp. Stay on your coverage, all that stuff. Uh, Sunday, we had the miscues with Denzel Perryman's pass interference. I think a week before it was Tua Totu or Cut or Cashman. They gave up a touchdown. Um, they gave up the touchdown that put Tampa Bay ahead late in the game. Um, and then it was in the Panthers game, there were penalties, you know what I'm saying, that extended the Panthers drive. So, um, defense just got to straighten up and just not commit any penalties or any mental errors. You know what I'm saying? Also, Kyler Murray, he's been back for one game. Uh, so it's kind of you don't know what he's gonna do. How hurt is he? You know what I'm saying? He ran for like 33 yards, so maybe he's not. Uh, maybe if he's not 100%, he's not. You know, close to 50% or nothing. He might be it's a good 75 or 80. So, definitely keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't really go off and have a great return. Keep the moment. Number two, keep the momentum of the run game going. So, Singletary, he's proven his value in Pierce's absence. He's really shown what he can do on the ground as an effective runner. So I think it's, you know what I'm saying, you really got to bring it to him. Bring it to the Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? Get physical with him. Let let Singletary just get loose. You know what I'm saying? Let him, charge that team up. So um just let him like get loose. Let's get this running game going. And not just with the wide receivers, although they did a good job with Hutchinson and Dale on the reverse plays, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe just mix it up, throw another, get a little rotation going for these running backs. And, especially when Pierce comes back. You know what I'm saying? So just, you know what I'm saying, throwing in the rotation and keeping him healthy is going to really help the team out a lot. Last one, do not overlook the Cardinals. I cannot stress that enough, man. Look, do not overlook them at all. Yes, this team is 2-8. They rebuilding. They're trying to really get their stuff together for next season, but they're still gonna come out here and you know what I'm saying, they're gonna see what they have. So they probably gonna throw anything and everything at this Texans team. And so it's up to the Texans to actually like come out there and just be like, nah. we smacking out around today. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. And so this game should really be taken as serious as the previous two. Like the previous two, you know what I'm saying? You kind of facing, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got Baker Mayfield, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. Um, they not that far removed from a Super Bowl, even though it was Brady, but you know what I'm saying? Like just take the game serious. You know what I'm saying? Serious as the previous two games for sure. You know, um, yeah. So that's about it, man. Just take that game as serious as possible. Do not sleep on this Arizona Cardinals team. They looking to like just embarrass somebody. So just go in there and do what you got to do. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all. So three things just to leave you out with. So number one, reduce the defensive mistakes. Number two, um, keep the momentum of the run game going. And number three, do not overlook the Cardinals. They still football team. So, so you know what I'm saying. Just give them their respect and just play them like you would play any other opponent. So, with that being said, I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to my page. If you are, if you are watching this on Facebook, uh, like my page, facebook.com/BrandonBlog. So that's all I got for y'all today. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.